Hey, shalom, family. Hey, that's a good song right there for what it is we getting ready to go into this afternoon. Um, I want to give a shout out to the brother Jeremiah Guyang. That's a beautiful song. It's perfect. And perfect for, what it is, like I said, that we're getting ready to go into. I want to also give a shout out to all the brothers and sisters who have a music ministry, who contribute to, keeping the Most High in our thoughts, because that's really what it is. You keeping the Father in our thoughts, because those tunes play constantly in our head, right? So I appreciate that. All you brothers that and sisters too that sing for the Most High, sing. Hey, use your talents for the Most High. Old Zion, use your talents for the Most High, right? But without any other side tracks or anything, side notes, we have I have a broadcast today that I want to bring forth to the world, and it's called "The World is Preparing to Recolonize Africa," right? Because that's what we're seeing. The world is preparing to recolonize Africa, and I have a few videos that I want to play, and I want to give commentary, with those videos. So without any further ado, here's the first video. Like I said, I'll be commentating, I'll be speaking throughout. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in. But here we go without any further ado.
All this talk of illegal migration in Europe and the United States, it ultimately comes down to a contest of what is governance. Who is governed? Which countries are governed well? And if so many of these countries around the world are incapable of governing themselves, then it's time for us to just put the imperial hat back on to say, we're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourselves, because enough is enough. We're done being invaded.
Because our own national security risk is at stake.
Exactly.
Interests are at stake.
You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves. And
you hear that? He just said it. He said, hey, listen, we're going to put our imperial hat back on. And y'all saw the definition for imperialism right there. All right. They want to come in, and these people want to come in. Well, this guy, let me tell you who this guy is first. This guy is Eric Prince. Okay, he's the founder of the mercenary group called formerly called Blackwater. I think they're called like Academy now or something like that. But formerly, these people were called Blackwater. These are mercenaries for the United States government. That's who they are. You can look this guy up on your own time. I don't have time to really go into that, but this is who he is. Okay, so this is a paid soldier of the United States. All right. You just had Joe Biden come into the continent the other day. Fell asleep on stage while a presentation was going forth. You can look that up as well. Why is the Western world trying to get into Africa? Right? Why do they keep on trying to come into Africa? Sub-Saharan Africa, to be exact. Because I don't see them going up into Libya. I don't see them going up into Morocco. I don't see them going up into Somalia, Egypt. I don't see that. I see them coming down into sub-Saharan Africa. Why? Why? That's the question I want you to keep in your mind.
Benefiting their citizens, because the governments there are all about looting and pillaging and lining their pockets and going shopping in Paris instead of actually.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on. People on the left are going to watch this. They're going to say.
Now let me say something else as well, because he just pointed the finger at our people. He just said that our people are incapable of governing ourselves. When you understand that these Western politics, okay, when you begin to understand these people, you understand that they only put people in place that they can control. They're putting these people in place. It's their dollars who are funding these people who are in place. And they do that so they can keep control, so they can keep the continent or these countries, well, the continent, sub-Saharan Africa. They do this so they can keep the people poor purposely. They don't want enterprise coming out of Africa unless they're controlling it, because they understand that the resources are too great. So if leaders in sub-Saharan Africa were to begin to control their own enterprise, the enterprise of their resources, Africa will be the greatest nation, sub-Saharan Africa, because we are one. Sub-Saharan Africa will be the greatest nation on the earth. And they understand that. But he just pointed the finger purposely because it looks as though that's the case. But that's not the case, because they place these people in power. But anyway, let's go.
Wait a minute. Eric Prince is talking about being a colonialist again.
Absolutely. Yes. Enough. Because if you go to these countries and you see how they suffer under absolutely corrupt, made-up governments that are just criminal syndicates.
Made-up governments.
The people of Africa, the people of Latin America, a lot of them deserve better. Now, some countries are really getting it together. Look at what El Salvador did. Bukele, murder capital of Latin America, he said, no more. Now El Salvador is safer than Prince William County.
And he took
just south of Washington, D.C.
Now, did y'all hear the nonsense that was coming out of his mouth? You see what this man want to do. See, he works. He's a paid soldier. Hey, listen, all empires have mercenary groups that they send out. Rome, which was imperial, remember, Rome was called Imperial Rome. We just read the definition of an imperialist. Rome got all of their territories through colonization. These people do nothing different. All right, they do the same things throughout throughout years. All right, Rome had a mercenary group. I forget the name of them. I forget the name of it. If I remember it, I'll bring it out. But they had a mercenary group as well that was paid for through their government. They were a bunch of barbarians that they would use to go and take down and topple and set up coups and all of these sorts of things in different countries and destabilize, so that they can move in the regime that they want to be in place, so that they can control the enterprise, the resources, the enterprise of the resources. All right, let's move on to the next video. Yeah, let's move on to the next video, because it's not just the so-called white man or the Western world or Europe that's looking to get in on this recolonization of Africa. All right, it's time for our brothers and sisters on the continent and worldwide to wake up. All right, if you have any skills, or anything, it's time for you to bring those things back to, bring them back home. If you have understanding of the enemy, bring it home. The enemy, those who are looking to take down, to take. All right, the colonizer, so to speak. All right. So anyway, let's get this next one. Just listen up if you can.
The first scramble for Africa was when European colonial powers saw a continent that was vast, rich in minerals and land, and very poorly defended, and they rushed in to carve it up and steal the land. The second was during the Cold War, when East and West were locked in a struggle for global domination. That's when the Soviet Union backed Marxist despots all over Africa, and the Americans backed any leader who said that he was in favor of capitalism. The third wave, which is happening right now, is much more benign. It's much more about voluntary exchange, about trade, and about the spread of technology. It's a new kind of scramble for Africa, which, if handled well, Africans can win.
And hold on a second.
The old stereotype.
You notice he said the new scramble is regarding trade. I want everyone to pay attention to that, because there's an organization called the WTO, the World Trade Organization. All right. This organization is set up with the sole purpose of keeping an eye on the resources in Africa, not only keeping an eye on the resources, but keeping an eye on the people who are who are looking at enterprise from the country. Okay? See, these people have everything set up. They're organized in the attack, in the poverty, and to keep our people impoverished. They're organized. And they're one mind, and they're confederate with this particular agenda that they have. All right, so I want y'all to realize, understand that, and it's going to be another video where a guy explains that to a degree.
Foreigners in Africa is that they're only interested in the minerals and not Africa's people. That's still sometimes true, and there are still a lot of corrupt mineral deals going on.
It says he said they're only concerned with the minerals and not the people. That's a lie. They're concerned with the minerals and the people. Ain't no sometimes, because they're keeping an eye on the people so that the people don't, like I said, begin to industrialize on the continent. They don't want Africa having industry. They just want Africa to sell raw resources at a cheap price so that they can keep the people impoverished. And they take the minerals and create industries in their countries. And then when they create the industries, they turn these minerals into resource, or they turn these minerals into, different things, different items. And what do? They sell it. Then they begin to sell these things at a higher price, a way higher price than what they bought them for. This is how they keep us poor and impoverished. This is the setup. This is the play.
On in Africa, but much more important now is African people. There'll be more Africans in the world than Chinese people by 2025. It's a huge market, and since they're all living in independent countries, they're in a much better position than in the past to negotiate better deals with the outside world. And this has been great for Africans, greater openness.
And look how he's trying to make it seem like it's so great how Africans can win. The board is set against Africa. The board is set against sub-Saharan Africa. They don't want you to win. They'll give you a piece of the pie. They'll give some of you a piece of the pie, some of us, but they will not allow us to win. It's about them having a nest egg, so to speak, a nest egg for their children and their children's children. This is why they want to get on the continent. Their lands are corrupt. They're getting ready to go to nuclear war with each other. They have no fish in their seas. Their grounds can produce nothing. And I'm speaking to you as a brother, because I am your brother. All right, my people were just shipped off, our people, some of us, we were just shipped off and broken off from the family tree. But we brothers. And I'm speaking to you from a brother because I know, as a brother, because I know these people. I was raised around.
To trade and investment from the outside world is one of the reasons why Africans are 2/5 richer than they were in 2000. Of course, the fact that there are fewer wars and better macroeconomic policies has also helped. There's still a big problem with corruption. Unaccountable leaders in the less transparent African countries can...
Now you see, they point the finger. They continue to point the finger because that's something that we can see. The things that they do behind closed doors. Like they pay, they have lobbyists, and they take their lobbies and they pay. Right? They pay for certain people, puppets, or shall I say, to be placed in position that will vie for their interests. Okay, so these people who are in place, they're corrupt. They're this, they're that. Yeah, they corrupt. You put them there. You put them there. You put them there. You placed them there. Your money put those people in place.
Often sign deals with outsiders that benefit them personally, but perhaps not their country so much. The things that Russia's doing in the Central African Republic, where you have private firms protecting diamond mines and the president of that war-torn country, are to many people reminiscent of what happened in the 19th century at the height of imperialism.
Which foreigners are moving in?
The scale of foreign interest is unprecedented. Between 2010 and 2016, 320 new embassies were opened in Africa, probably the largest embassy building boom.
320 embassies open on the continent of Africa. 320 embassies? Okay.
Anywhere, ever. Turkey alone opened 26. Last year, India announced it was going to open 18. Military links are spreading too. China alone has ties
Turkey,
with 45
India,
African
Russia,
countries. America and France are helping defeat terrorists in the Sahel. Oil-rich Arab nations are setting up military bases in the Gulf. And Russia has military deals with 19 African countries.
Wow.
African voters and need to insist on more transparency.
So now this guy, he's of one of those nations. He's of one of those nations who's moving in, and now he's going to tell Africans how to win. He's going to tell you how to win. When he's looking, himself is looking to, hey, he's one of those people. He's a part of those nations. He's benefiting off of, the imperialist actions of his government. He's benefiting off of it, but he's going to tell you how to win. Go figure.
Transparency in the way that these deals are done. The kind of work that Kenyan journalists have done to expose scandals connected to a Chinese railway project is very encouraging. Second, African leaders need to think more strategically. China is one country, Africa's 54. It's going to be much harder for them to drive the right kind of bargains if they let China negotiate with them individually behind closed doors. Even if African unity is a bit of a far-off dream at the moment, at least you can see more regional unity, which would be very useful in negotiating infrastructure projects. Finally, Africans should take what some of their new friends tell them with a pinch of salt. The Chinese government is very keen to tell Africans that democracy is a Western idea and that development needs a firm hand. This may be music to the ears of some of the strongmen on the continent, but African voters should not be fooled by it. There's a lot of research out there suggesting that the African countries that are more democratic tend to grow faster and prosper better. As the population gets more educated and moves into the cities more, we're seeing that they're more critical of governments and giving the ruling party a lower share of the vote. As African politics grows more competitive, voters will have more clout, and they'll be able to insist on a form of globalization that works for Africans and foreigners alike.
A form of globalization that works for Africans and foreigners alike. That works for Africans and foreigners alike. They ain't looking for nothing that works for you. Listen, I don't know why our people love to listen to these people. All right, but it's high time. It's high time to come up off of that. For real. Come up off of that, because they ain't got nothing. All right. That's why they looking to take from everyone else. They have nothing. They don't have, and see the thing is, our people have we've bought into this this capitalist mind state. We've bought into it. We bought into this capitalist mind state, thinking that, us getting a couple of dollars is doing something, right? When the real wealth is in the resources, the real wealth is in people, the real wealth is in our God and the spirituality that came from our God that keeps us together, that keeps us one. That's the real wealth. Family. But hey, let's get this next video.
China has invested billions of dollars into the continent of Africa to build massive infrastructure projects. Much of this infrastructure is part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, an estimated $1 trillion plan to connect the country to trade routes all over the world. African leaders like Kenya's Uhuru Kenyatta have favorably compared China's investments to earlier projects built by colonial power.
All right. Now, the Belt and Road Initiative, okay? The Belt and Road Initiative is basically a commercial lifeline for Europe and Asia. Europe, Asia, and Russia. Okay? That's what the Belt and Road Initiative really is. They're looking to connect the continent of Asia and Europe with Africa by railway. All right, so that they can, and it's pretty much like Africa would be the sub-Saharan Africa. Let's keep it all the way 100. Sub-Saharan Africa would be the pretty much the heartbeat of the lifeline. Okay, it'll be pretty much the heartbeat, and these other nations would be like, you know, if we want to look at the body, we'll say, okay, say the railway is the veins. Africa is the heart. You got these other places, these other countries that would be like arteries. You understand? So this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what the Belt and Road Initiative is. A way for them, Asia and Europe and Russia, India, all of those countries involved, Iran, all of those countries. This is a way for them to receive resources from Africa without even having to be there.
Where the old railway was built by force and violence against the wishes of those whose land is divided, the new railway is built by consent and partnership, both between ourselves and China, and between the governments which will prosper and profit by.
But is China's investment in the continent actually a win-win, as some African and Chinese leaders have said? Or just a new form of colonialism on a continent that's experienced so much of it? In this episode, we're examining China's Belt and Road Initiative and what it might mean for Africa. While China's Belt and Road Initiative was only proposed in 2013, the country's first infrastructure project on the African continent was built decades ago. The Tazara Railway, completed in 1976, was built to connect copper mines in Zambia to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania's former capital. The Tazara Railway was the first infrastructure project built on a pan-African scale. China's Belt and Road projects will be designed with this scale in mind, creating new trade routes within and between African countries. In 2017, a Chinese firm opened a railway network in Kenya, connecting its capital Nairobi to the port city of Mombasa. There are already plans to extend this network into South Sudan, Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. China, through its public and private sectors, has already loaned about $132 billion to African countries from 2006 to 2017. Many observers worry that African countries won't be able to pay back these debts, placing them in what's been called a, quote, debt trap. The Jubilee Debt Campaign, which campaigns for poor countries' debts to be canceled, estimates that about 20% of debt held by African governments is owed to China, making it the single largest lending nation. For comparison, 35% of African debt is owed to multilateral global institutions like the World Bank. Earlier waves of Chinese firms that invested in Africa made mistakes that caused problems for those countries' governments. Starting in 2005, tens of thousands of workers from China poured into the West African country of Ghana to take advantage of a gold rush. This eventually provoked a local backlash due to accusations of illegal mining. inflaming tensions between Chinese miners and the local government. Many observers have pointed to projects like this as examples of China exploiting Africa for its natural resources through, quote, neo-colonialist behavior. However, other observers contend that the majority of investment from China has largely avoided creating the problems seen in Ghana's gold mines, precisely because resource extraction has not been the main focus of other investments. In fact, the number one industry for Chinese investment has been the service industry, according to IMF economist Wen Jie-chen. She also points out that the countries where China's investment has been largest include those without abundant natural resources, such as Ethiopia and Kenya, in addition to resource-rich countries like Nigeria. Ultimately, African governments may feel that the risk of accumulating debt is outweighed by the benefits of new infrastructure. The China African focus of other investments.
I rewind that for just for a second. I want you to notice what she said concerning Ethiopia. Just listen up.
In fact, the number one industry for Chinese investment has been the service industry, according to IMF economist Wen Jie-chen. She also points out that the countries where China's investment has been largest include those without abundant natural resources, such as Ethiopia and Kenya, in addition to resources.
Now you notice, it just said those without abundant natural resources, such as Ethiopia and Kenya. I brought this forth now. Kenya has resources. It has resources. Ethiopia has resources, just not the way that, the other countries. When I say other, I'm speaking concerning Kenya. Other sub-Saharan African countries, they have more resources. Okay. Now Ethiopia is just outside sub-Saharan Africa. Okay. And I'm bringing them forth for a reason, because later on, when all of the videos are done, I'm going to read some scriptures and you're going to understand exactly why I pointed out Ethiopia.
Resource-rich countries like Nigeria. Ultimately, African governments may feel that the risk of accumulating debt is outweighed by the benefits of new infrastructure. The China Africa Research Initiative found that roughly 40% of China's loans between 2000 and 2015 went towards paying for energy projects, and another 30% went toward modernizing transportation on the continent. These loans were set at relatively low interest rates and with longer periods of time to pay them back. The Center for Global Development crunched the numbers on debt to China as a result of the Belt and Road Initiative and found that 8 of the 71 countries involved in the project were particularly vulnerable to getting caught in the debt trap. Of these 8 countries, only one was in Africa, Djibouti, a port country that's also become a military strategic point for China. The other 7 countries are in Europe and Asia. Nevertheless, China has denied engaging in debt trap diplomacy.
我要强调的是，共建“一带一路”是开放的合作平台，秉持的是共商共建、共享的基本原则，没有地缘政治目的。
In an attempt to strengthen this collaboration, China has also promised to align its goals for the Belt and Road Initiative with the African Union's own development goals of greater interconnectivity on the continent. However, these promises have yet to be outlined. Ultimately, China's push in Africa may be seeking to increase the country's influence rather than reap financial gains. Its investments are already strengthening China's alliances with African governments to China's benefit. Every African country but Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland, has cut ties with Taiwan, a prerequisite for diplomatic relations with mainland China. Some observers think that as African countries rise economically, they could actually have the upper hand by the time they negotiate payments back to China. This explains why African leaders have been so confident in calling Chinese investment a win-win. But only time will tell if their long game pans out. So do you think China's investments in Africa will be a boon to the continent, or are they a form of neocolonialism? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching Now This World. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Well, y'all know, I think it's a form of neocolonialism, hands down. Hands down. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right. So now we got China actively looking to place debt burden, or what they call it, a debt trap. They're trying to set these countries in debt traps, even though they come out and say they're not. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. Okay. It's as simple as that. One more video. Let's get this last video. And I hope that I'm being heard. And I hope that there's no issue with this video. But one more video. Let's see. One more video. We only got one more to go. And let's do it like this. Explanation. Let's see. That. Now, now check this one out.
Dr. Howard Nicholas explains why the Western world does everything in its power to ensure sub-Saharan Africa forever stays poor.
Has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. And Africa has a role to play. It has a role as a raw material.
You see that? Africa being impoverished plays a fundamental role in the prosperity of the advanced countries. All right? The poverty placed on Africa is strategic. Okay? It's strategic. Okay? The economics that they teach in our schools are directly, when I say our schools, I'm talking about to our people, not just on the continent, worldwide. When we go into their institutions, see, they teach us when we go into business, we teach say for instance, I go get a degree in business, all right? And I begin to, and I get my degree, but when I get into the classroom, okay, no sooner as I get in there, they're teaching me not to go into business with a family member. All right, but, and this is what they teach in their institutions, I know. All right, now check this out. They're not showing that to their own people. They're not showing that to their own people. All nations go in business together. It's called nepotism. All right, they practice nepotism. We don't practice it. And see, this is why the world went so crazy on a small level, on a smaller level. All right, this is why, you know, the Western media went so crazy when, you know, you had the basketball player LeBron James over there pushing for his son to get into the NBA and get that contract. You had everybody hating on him because our people ain't supposed to do that. But it's okay when others do it. All right. You had George Bush Sr., you had George W. Bush. You know what I'm saying? These were two presidents. So they practice nepotism. But when it comes, and nobody said a word about that, by the way. But when it comes to our people, even on the small, low level, they don't want us to practice nepotism. Okay? Before our entertainers in the States or even abroad, before our entertainers get a chance to get their money and retire and lay back and chill. And when they're on their deathbed, pass some things down to their children. Before they even get to do that, they're taken. And someone figures out a way to take their estate from their children. All right? So this is practice, all right, all over. It's not just on the continent. It's all over when it comes to our people. But on the continent to a greater degree. To a greater degree. And the World Trade Organization is the one spearheading it. You're going to see. Watch.
Producer. We will not allow Sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep Sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures.
And see, what he just said gave me a thought. Let me read something. All right, because, you know, I deal with the Bible. I read y'all some scriptures earlier, but what he just said, he said it's absolutely vital for everyone else that Africa stays low. All right? Understand, when he's speaking about Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, he's speaking about the people. He don't want the people to realize, they don't want the people to realize what they have under their feet. Okay? This is what it is. Because through our fall, let me get what Paul said in Romans 11 real fast. Romans 11. Let me get it real quick. Romans 11 and 11. This is Paul speaking concerning his people. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid. But rather through their fall, salvation has come unto the Gentiles to provoke them to jealousy. Listen to the 12th verse. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world. So as long as we stay low, the world stays rich. As long as our people are low and impoverished, the world is rich. All right. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world and the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? So how much more our fullness when we realize, wake up and realize who we are, what we have, who our God is, what we walked away from. How much more our fullness? We can continue to allow those who have colonized us and taken from us and killed our families, separated our bloodlines, taken us in captivity all over the earth. We can't continue to allow these people to teach us. An enemy will never teach you how to come out of your condition. No enemy will teach you how to come out of your condition. It's against their best interests.
Institution and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe, North America, and Asia are going to go forward.
This is what we can do. All right. Now he's calling us Africans. I'm going to call us what God called us. God called us the children of Israel. He called us the apple of his eye, the people in whom his name is on. That's who we are. And the reason that we're in this case is because we forgot him and forgot who we were. So the Most High scattered us. Through our scattering, We begin to learn the ways of these others. We begin to look at them as something. And we begin to take on their traits, go to their schools, eat their foods, begin to walk and talk like them. All right? Through that fall. But what we can do is come back. The book of Zephaniah, I think it's 2:1. It says, gather thyself together, O nation. Gather thyself together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desired. It's only one people on this earth who's undesirable to the rest of the people in the world. That's our people. So-called the Black African, Negro, or whatever you want to call it. We're the undesired to the world. It's time for us to gather ourselves together. Those borders that are set between country and country, they were set by the colonizer. Those names you call yourselves, according to whatever country the colonizer placed in that area. Those are colonizers' names. Just like when they took us over into the Americas by ship, the Americas, India, wherever those ships landed, we begin to be called by these people's names. It's time for us to remember ourselves and come back to the covenant of God. That's what we can do. That's what we can do. That's how we stop it. Understand, we the salt of the earth, and these people are nothing without us. You heard what he just said. He just said, if Africa does something different to change it up, then all of these countries will fall. It's been sub-Saharan Africa that's been upholding or holding up, propping up the rest of these countries on the earth.
Okay. And that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay, so the job of
and that's what I want to talk about too. The West is not going to allow that without a big fight. That's the truth. And that big fight is called Armageddon. That big fight is called Armageddon. You're going to understand what I'm talking about in a second.
Is to convince Africans they have to keep doing what they're doing. Okay? And to show them it's your fault that you're poor. It's not our fault. It's your fault that you're poor. You know? So this is what we do in academic institutions.
And you see, that's why I kept pointing out the fact that those people are those two brothers not brothers, but those two guys from those prior videos that we watched. Those two guys kept trying to place the blame on the leaders when they're the ones who set those leaders up in place. That's what he just said. He just said, hey, it's not our fault you're poor, it's your fault. Your leaders are taken from you. Your leaders are going on trips and vacations and, when they put those leaders in place, because those leaders were for their turn, not the turn of the people. And they knew it.
We know the basic forces that have caused this development. We know it's colonization. We cannot afford to allow Africa to industrialize and start producing manufacturers. Okay, so we will do everything to stop that. And I'm going to show you how we actually block that. We have East Asian rapid industrialization processes. So in the earlier period, we had Japan and Korea and Taiwan. Okay, rapid growth, sucking in raw materials from Africa, driving up the prices. After those countries finished industrialization, then sub-Saharan African growth rate again fell. Sub-Saharan Africa is condemned to this role. Just as the viable material of the manufacturer. The currencies are collapsing of these countries, and many of them are sub-Saharan African countries. After colonization ended, we needed new structures to keep these countries where they were. Okay? And the first of those is aid. Okay, we give them aid. Aid for what? Actually, we give them aid to keep repressive regimes in power.
There you go.
That's all. All the hypocrisy.
There you go. You see that? You see that? You see that? And this is what I was saying. He's even saying that those regimes or those leaders are placed in power by the West. They're placed there. This is why the aid is placed. This is why they're giving so much aid. These monies for aid, where's it going? It's disappearing. Why? Because these are people that are placed where they are by the West. And now by China, the Asians, now by Russia. Okay? Pay attention.
In democracy and bullshit like that. But it would go to country after country offering loans. And if the president did not accept the loan, they would kill. It's just economics.
See that?
It's economic warfare. The rich declare war on the poor. It happens everywhere. It happens in a country. The rich control the government. Of course they do. You really believe you have democracy? Come on. Go on. Who has all the subsidies and income support? US. Europe. The largest budgets in the world for supporting the farmers of Europe and US. You see, we're keeping them independent. We're keeping them on the straight. This next round of the WTO is designed to block that. To block anyone else getting on top of the land.
You see that? The WTO, the plan of the WTO is designed to block Africa. Remember, I told you the World Trade Organization was set up to keep our people financially low. This is a curse that the Most High God said would happen to his people. So let's turn real quick. Let's go. Let me stop sharing this. But yeah, this is a curse that happened to God's people. All right. And that was the last video. Let me see here. That was the last video. Let me bring myself back up. Let me see. Here I go. What's up, y'all? I'm back. Yeah. But this is a curse that the Most High God said would befall our people if we did not keep his commandments. If we didn't keep his commandments, let me show you what God said would happen to his people. And this is what I'm trying to tell my people on the continent. You're the children of Israel, and you're living this curse because you've forsaken your God. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Deuteronomy 28:43. The stranger, and the stranger means other nations. The stranger, or other races, or other people who come around, right? The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to you all that aid you're getting. He shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. Bible prophecy. Watch this. Let me tell you why though. Let God tell you why. Moreover, all these curses shall come up upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee until thou be destroyed, because thou listen not to the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Because thou serve not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. We're the only people that have an abundance of all things. We just give them away to the nations. Give all our stuff. Oh, hey, yeah, let me get some paper notes with your president's face on. With your people. This idolatry. You want idols? The Most High gave you an abundance of riches, lands, waters, resources all over them, just tripping over resources. But you want to give it up for an idol, for a piece of paper with a man's face on it. $1. $1, a yen, a euro, right? A franc. You want to give it away for that? Really? The world's supposed to be trying to keep up with our people, not us trying to keep up with the world. We're not supposed to be conformed to this world. We're supposed to be transformed by the renewing of the mind. It's time to renew our minds, Africa. Wake up. Uh, 48. Therefore, shalt thou serve thine enemies. And we servants to those who are our enemies. A lot of y'all don't even think we have enemies. But anyone who would colonize you and keep you poor and impoverished and enslave your people, these are enemies. These are enemies. These are not friends, not allies. I don't care what kind of aid they offer you. These are enemies. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. And the Lord sent them against us because we didn't uphold our end of the bargain. He shall send them against thee in hunger, in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And that's poverty. Hunger, thirst, nakedness, and in want of all things is poverty. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And we have yokes of iron upon our necks. Those of us who went into the transatlantic or the sub-Saharan or the East Indian slave trade. We had yokes of iron upon our necks. Some of you here or on the African continent, some of you also who were colonized had yokes of iron on your necks as well. Anybody who put a yoke of iron on your neck like you're an animal is not your friend, that's an enemy. All right. So that's what it is. All right. So that's what it is. I wanted y'all to get that. You know, Deuteronomy 28 right there, you know. That's what it is, man. These people, they're looking to recolonize the continent of Africa. They're looking to keep our people destroyed. And I'm going to show you something too. Let me show you Armageddon real quick. Let's go to Ezekiel 38. Let me read Ezekiel 38 and 1. All right. And this, matter of fact, I'm going to read this here. I want y'all to see this. I'm going to read this on the, I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to read it from the Eastern Text Bible. All right. The Lambda Bible. All right. Yeah. Can y'all see that right there? Let me see if y'all can see that. Yeah, y'all can see it. All right. Hopefully this broadcast is going smooth too. If not, I just have to fix some things. But you see this here. This is the Lambda Bible. Let me go and scroll up so you can, let me show you what it is. Look at this. Dr. George Lamb's Bible, the Aramaic Eastern translation. All right. So this is Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. And I'm starting at the first verse. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against China. You see that? Set your face against China, the land of Mongolia. Now, I'm not sure about the Mongolia, but anyway, set your face against China. In the King James, it says, set your face against God. All right. The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him and say, thus saith the Most High, behold, I am against you, O China, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. All right. So I just wanted y'all to see that part right there. Let me stop sharing. So you can see that that's Ezekiel 38 right there is talking about China. So the Eastern text says. All right. But let's go here. let's go to the King James. And I want to get this out of the KJV. But anyway, Ezekiel 38:1, it says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Most High, Behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed in all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling the sword. Persia, Iran, and Ethiopia. Remember I said Ethiopia. I stopped the video because Ethiopia is one of those countries right outside of sub-Saharan Africa who's inhabited by the children of Ham, not the children of Shem. So these aren't Israelites. The majority of them, those who run things up there, okay? But our people, some of our people are scattered there, all right? So Ethiopia coming too. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. Libya is another country in North Africa. See, remember, I kept specifying sub-Saharan Africa, all right? And Libya are the people of Put, all right? These are Hamitic people, all right? Now, their countries, this country in particular, Libya, was ran down by Arabs, just like Ethiopia, or Egypt, sorry. Okay? But these are Hamitic lands, all right? And these people are coming to recolonize. Let me show you. Persia, I'm at the 5th verse. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with shields and helmets. See, they're coming with armies. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. 7, be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. After many days, thou shalt be visited in the latter days, right? Latter days, the last days, all right? In the latter days, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword. So the Most High is bringing his people back. He's beginning to replenish his people, right? His people are beginning to get understanding concerning who they are. They're starting to become or gather themselves together. They're looking to do that. All right. So it says, after many days, thou shalt be visited, 8th verse. In the latter days, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, meaning destitute. But it is brought forth out of many nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Right? No armies, just dwelling safely. Right? Just loving each other, trying to live safe, just trying to live life. 9, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus saith the Most High. It shall also come to pass that at that same time, shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. Now check out this evil thought that they're going to think, right? And thou shalt think an evil thought. Matter of fact, let me give y'all this real quick. I want to share this. I want you to see this because I got some stuff I want to pull up. I want to pull up so y'all can see. I got some stuff I want to pull up so y'all can see. Let me get this e-sword here. I want to pull up this e-sword for y'all so y'all can see where I'm at, what I'm doing. All right. Let me get that e-sword down. Am I there? Ezekiel 38. I think I'm there. Yes, I am. All right. All right. So Ezekiel, back to business. Where was I at? I'm at the 9th verse. 10th verse. Thus saith the Most High, it shall also come to pass that at that same time shall things come up into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, having neither bars nor gates. See, and these are people who are going to be dwelling safely. There's no wars. It's just peace. People living peacefully. They've gained certain things such as resources, right? Land. They've gained certain things. And the other nations, China being the head of the other nations, are going to look and say, you know what? I want some of that because our lands is failing. We have no agriculture growing like these people do. We can't feed ourselves. The fish in the ocean are dying. They eat everything out the ocean. All right? So that this thought is going to come up in their mind, the 12th verse, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land. All right? Sheba and Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof, shall say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey? To carry away silver and gold? To take away cattle and goods? To take a great spoil? Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto God, thus saith the Most High, in that day when my people of Israel shall dwell safely, shall thou not know it? Because these other nations, they know exactly who we are, and they understand exactly what they're doing. All right? They got a blueprint, a perfect wicked blueprint to come against our people and destroy us, and they're all Confederate. So the Most High asking them, don't you know this, my people? Don't you know I'm the one that brought them back? Don't you know that? Okay, so this what you want to do? See, y'all don't realize this is setting the stage for Armageddon. The recolonization of Africa is setting the stage for Armageddon. The Most High will not let it happen. The Most High is going to destroy. You watch the 15th verse. It says, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. And they coming out of the north parts. Now check this out. What's north of Africa? Sub-Saharan Africa. What's north? All of these nations are north. Can't say that concerning Israel. The so-called what they calling Israel today. You can't say that. All of those nations aren't north of them. Some of them are east. Some of them are south, because we just talked about Libya and Ethiopia being with them. So you can't say that about the Levant. But anyway, the 16th verse. And thou shalt come up against my people Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days. It's going to be in the last days. And I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen, hold on, let me see. I might have skipped something. No, I didn't. Here you go. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days. And I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O God, before their eyes. So the Most High is bringing you and all of these nations here to let it be known, okay, what you want to do. This is what you want? This is the battle of Armageddon. 17. Thus saith the Most High, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants, the prophets of Israel, which prophesy in those days, many years, that I will bring thee against them? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because you know why? They drunk. Right? These people are drunk. They're delusional. And it's Japheth. These are Japhites, the sons of Japheth. Let me show you something about Japheth real quick, because it was a prophecy that Moses, let me go to Genesis 9 and 27, I think. Here it is. It said, God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Now check this out. Enlarge, what does that mean? Right? Because everybody think that Japheth gonna be, oh, let's talk about Chinese, it's gonna be a lot of people. Let's see what that enlarge means. Right? Enlarge. A primitive root to open, to make roomy, right? To delude, to allure, to deceive, to enlarge, entice, flatter, persuade, a silly one. Okay? So when it says God shall enlarge Japheth, God shall allure Japheth or entice Japheth to do what? To dwell in the tents of Shem. To dwell in the tents of Shem. So he looking to get Shem's land, inheritance. He's deluded. He's enticed. He think he can do it. He's seen America do it, Europe do it. So he think he can do it. But oh no, the Most High is going to destroy you. The Most High is going to destroy you. Right? Now, where are we? All right. We're at the 17th verse. Thus, Ezekiel 38:17. Thus saith the Most High, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old times by my servant the prophets of Israel, which prophesy in those days many years, that I will bring thee against them? And it shall come to pass at that time, when God shall come against the land of Israel, saith the Most High, that my fury shall come up in my face. So this is when the Most High he's going to totally get angry. All the nations are going to look to come and take resources, a spoil, a great spoil. Again, they're going to look to come and do this. And see, they're going to do this under Japheth, China. Don't you see China, the forerunner, right now? All right, and it shall come to pass at that same time, when God shall come against the land of Israel, saith the Most High, that my fury shall come up in my face. 19. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel, so that the fishes of the sea and the fowls of heaven and the beasts of the field and all creeping things that creep upon the earth and all the men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake at my presence. And the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Most High. Every man's sword shall be against his brother, and I will plead against him with the pestilence and blood, and I will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon many people that are with him an overflowing rain, a great hailstone, fire and brimstone. Thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Most High. And that's what's going to happen to these nations out here. That's what's going to happen to these nations out here who think they could just be little God's people, take, land and resources, and, they think we don't have, any might. Our might is in us coming together. All right. Gather thyself together. Yea, gather together, O nation, not the Zion. That's Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. We are the children of God. And it's time for us to wake up. It's high time for us to wake up. All right. Because what these people are looking to do, they're coming in here with a smile. They're coming in here with smiles and handshakes. But what they're looking to do is dangerous to our whole being. Okay. And there's so many different things we can go into right now, but I'm going to conclude it with that. And I'm going to leave out with this here. All right. So I just want to tell y'all, brothers and sisters, shalom, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. All right, peace.
It's Jeremiah, prophesy. Let my people go. Let my people go. Yeah. Killer. Energy. Killer. Africa, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, Africa. Africa, let my people go. Africa, set my people free. See them coming back. Your sons and daughters coming back. They are coming back from the nations of where they are coming back. In this situation, implement a plan for assimilation. Start a conversation and would yield everyone's redemption. See them coming back. The kings of the earth, they be coming back. The Jay-Z be coming back. Beyonce Chiku be coming back. Oh. Clap. Energy. Clap. Energy. Clap. Oh yeah. America, let my people go. Europea, let my people go. See we coming back. From the ancient tombs, we are coming back. We are coming back. From the valley of the dry bones, coming back. We are coming back. From the lands of slavery, coming back. On this one occasion, a higher will show us mercy. From desolation, destruction and dejection. See me coming back into the hands of the Most High, coming back. See them coming back. The kings of the earth be coming back. See them coming back. Luciano coming back. Oh, see them coming back. Morgan Heritage coming back. Oh, see them coming back. The Lord and Haiti coming back. Hey. I see I let my people go. Australia, let my people go. Andaman Islands, if you pay, they will show you Jarawa. They will show you Jarawa. Africa, come. Africa, come. Africa, come. Israel, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Israel, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, Israel. I see them coming back. Next the belly's coming back. I see them coming back. Bob Marley coming back. I see them coming back. Chris Rock, my brother, coming back. John Kashindi coming back. Teresa Kempi coming back. Whoa. Come and get this water. Woo. Come and get this mercy. Israel, wake up, wake up, wake up. The King is coming back. Judah, wake up, wake up, wake up. Your lion is coming back. Amalekite soldiers, slaying sons of Jacob. Amalekite soldiers, waging war on Zion. Amalekite soldiers, singing Maranatha. Amalekite soldiers, waiting for Yashaya. We'll see him coming back. Riding on the cloud, I'm coming back. We'll see him coming back. The Lion of Judah coming back. We'll see him coming back. The King of Israel coming back. We'll see him coming back. The King of creation coming back. Oh, see him coming back. Yashaya coming back. Oh, see him coming back. Savior coming back. Oh, see him coming back. keep coming back.